we got a pretty darn good safety class on our hands. What's crack lacking? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know. So back again, once again, with another prospect video. This time we're taking a look at the safety class, which is a very good class in my opinion. And if you want to actually see my complete rankings, I'm only going to cover my top 10 here on the channel. You could go to Fan to Fan Network. I'm going to leave the link in the description as well. It's going to be in the pinned comment. Also, Thursday night, FTFN, Fan to Fan Network, we're going to be back on Twitch and on YouTube. Basically, a little pre-game analysis of the Chiefs versus the Texans. Be discussing that with football season coming around and such. And then keep in mind, a lot coming on the channel. I'm going to have my final NFL predictions video as well as my NFL season awards or prediction on season awards. And then I'm going to do another mock draft at the end of this, and I'm probably going to take it from my predictions. So that ought to be a banger. That'll be a blast. We will have fantasy football content coming back to the channel with starts and sits, and then we'll start back next week with the waiver wire pickups. But let's go ahead and let's really get into this. Did I say become a bro and subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the channel? Well, shoot, go ahead and do that. Let's do this. Number one, it's JEVON Holland, dude. The guy is probably the consensus number one safety for everyone for the most part, because the last two seasons he's just been elite, whether it was in the slot like it was last year or the year before where he was playing that deep safety role. He played at a very high level. He's got probably the best instincts in this class, and then with his length, he's always at the catch point. He has 9 career picks. He allowed no touchdowns in the slot last year, which that says something. Typically, slot is the most targeted position on the football field. But he's really good. I don't think he's physical enough, though, to play in the box. Not saying he can't, but, I mean, with his ball skills, his coverage skills, you don't really want him to anyway. But this guy is my number one safety. On number 2, Trevon Moehrig out of TCU. Just this guy's built like an NFL safety, solid physical and athletic tools. But the thing is, compared to some of the other guys on this list, his instincts are a bit lacking. They're not bad, but compared to like probably they're in my top 5, they're probably the least best. I guess that's the best way to put it. But I'm not saying the guy doesn't have ball skills, because he is always around the ball. The guy can read and react. He is always at the catch point. As you can, this guy, he literally will jar the ball loose. He's a hard hitter. He's a thumper. As you can tell, he allowed a completion percentage of only 32% and a passer rating of 57.8 when targeted in 2019. And I talked about him being a thumper. The guy's a very sure tackler, and honestly, even if his instincts aren't on par with some of the other guys, his full skill set makes him one of the top safeties in this class. He's very good. On to number 3, Andre CISCO, and this kid just makes you shake your head. He's very frustrating prospect to watch, because he's got a very high risk, high reward type of play. And it's not like last season when I talked about Jalen Johnson out of Utah, when I said he was high risk, high reward. He was more calculated, though, with how he attacked the ball. CISCO, very just reactionary. He does have the ideal size and range and athleticism, though, to make it at safety in the NFL. And the dude, he can lay the boom on ball carriers, and he is a ball hawk. Like I said, high reward. He has 12 picks in the last 2 seasons, but he has tons of mental lapses on his tape, just whether if it's taking bad angles on a ball carrier or just playing too aggressive in coverage. I mean, through 9 games last year, he allowed 6 touchdowns. He literally, I mean, for as much as he makes the big play, he gives it up just as much, you know, and that's something I kind of want to see him get better at this year. So again, a guy with the knack to make the big play, and you gotta love the physical and athletic tools. So that's hard to ignore. That's why I got a 2nd round grade on him. I like this next guy. Ardarius Washington out of TCU, another TCU safety, and you're gonna look at his size. A lot of people look at his size and think he's a slot only type of player, but keep in mind there's some times, especially at safety, where you're like, this guy's such a special talent, special prospect. You can kind of be like, okay, exception to the rule. I mean, look at Tyrann Mathieu. The dude is 5'9", 174. I think Washington could be a similar type of player. I mean, he's kind of like Honey Badger light. I mean, I say light only because he's not in the NFL and we haven't seen it yet, you know? But he's a solid tackler. The guy has phenomenal ball skills. He only allowed 5 catches last season. He's got very, very good short area bursts. He's quick. He's agile. And, I mean, his instincts. I said Holland has probably the best instincts in this class. I mean, Washington, they're right on par with that. Like, they're really, really good. But, again, a lot of people are going to look at his size and be like, okay, he's slot only. And I really don't think that's the case. I think the size will probably make him not a first-round guy. But I think he's got first-round talent. He's just special. And then at 5, HAMSAH NASIRILDEEN out of Florida State. This guy's going to be he needs to be a linebacker. The guy plays like a linebacker. He puts on a few more pounds. He's built like a linebacker. He's just that good. He's got immense physical tools, and he just plays phenomenal around the line of scrimmage. He has one of the best run defense grades of any safety on this list. Thing is, I don't think he can play deep safety because I just don't think the speed and the lateral movement is really there, and it's just he's much better underneath and around the line of scrimmage, especially if he can play and run support. I mean, this is a guy that he gives you a little bit of versatility too, because he's a guy you could slip in the slot around the goal line, or if you have maybe bigger slot wide receivers, because he's got pretty good press skills as well. So I like NASIRILDEEN, but I like him at linebacker because I mean, I feel like he is kind of what the NFL is moving towards in terms of linebacker. Then next we got KOLBY HARVELL-PEEL out of Oklahoma State, and last time I talked about him, I laid the comp Bob Sanders, and I really want to stick with that because he's very reminiscent, at least his skill set, of a Bob Sanders. He flies sideline to sideline and he just makes plays all over the field. He only allowed 4 first downs last season. He added 5 interceptions, 13 pass breakups, and 4 forced fumbles. And keep in mind, this is in a Big 12 that likes to pass a lot. They like to pass a lot. I'm just saying. So I think where he is served best is probably kind of like in the Joker, Rover type of role, or just maybe in a traditional box safety type role. I think he will flourish underneath and in the intermediate. I don't think he really has the long field change of direction needed to play in the back end or play as a deep safety. But you keep him in that short to intermediate, then you really, really got a solid player on your hands. He's a sure tackler, and guess what? He's a thumper. Gotta like a thumper. Hey, y'all seen Bambi? Thumper? Rabbit? Maybe I'll call him that. He's the Rabbit. It's a great nickname. Caden Sterns out of Texas here. A lot of people, or at least I think the hype of him is going down quite a bit because it was like, oh, he's a top 10 safety. Because the physical tools, they're off the charts. The size, the length, just like I said, they remind you a bit of like a Jamal Adams, a Derwin James, and you kind of start salivating like, oh my gosh. But this guy, his instincts and his physicality are atrocious. He takes bad angles in the run game. He can't shed blocks worth nothing. If a blocker puts his hands on Sterns is done. He's dead in the water. He's out of the play. And he just hesitates in coverage. He just can't make a decision. He just doesn't react, you know? And I feel like he's kind of in this awkward position where you love the physical tools, but you be a box safety that can't play the run, and then a deep safety with terrible instincts. Like, it's kind of weird. So you gotta kind of hope you could coach him up. But again, elite traits, 3rd round is a nice place for him. And then at 8, I got Reed Blankenship out of Middle Tennessee State. And when I was going through this, I didn't realize Middle Tennessee State, like sneakily, they've pumped out at least some solid secondary talent. I mean, Kevin Byard, Tarvarius Ward, the Chiefs corner, who actually had a pretty solid season last year. And Blankenship, honestly, he could be he could be a nice little gem, nice little diamond in the rough here, because his movement skills are insane. He covers a lot of ground, or he's been asked to cover a lot of ground for Middle Tennessee State. And Bruce Feldman even put him on his freaks list for his explosiveness, because I mean, when you're covering that much ground, you better be quick, and boy, he is quick. And I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, playing for the Blue Raiders, you don't face the best level of competition, and I always talk about level of competition on here, but some of his best games last season were actually against Michigan and Iowa. So okay, you can kind of chuck that. If you're going to perform in big games, or at least against better competition, and you don't look any different, then I'm willing to be like, to hell with level of competition. The only red flag right now would be his season did end, I think, like mid-October last year against North Texas because of the broken ankle. So that's the only red flag I would have with him right now. And then next, I got Jacoby Stevens out of LSU, but guess what? Another guy that I think is a linebacker, dude. This guy should convert to linebacker. He's already 225. I just don't think he's athletic enough to stay at safety. He kind of fits more of the mold of today's, or the modern day NFL linebacker, because he does have some good ball skills. He is a former wide receiver, but this guy really shines as a tackler and as a blitzer. I mean, he has no problem taking on blocks, and he is very physical. He had 33 defensive stops last season in the run, and like I said, pass rusher. Dude had 22 pressures and 7 sacks over just 101 pass rush snaps last season. That is wild. I gotta adjust something real quick. But like I said, again, as a safety, I don't like his athleticism. By no means is he a bad athlete. A lot of the times LSU, they have him deep and they have him come up pre-snap, kind of play in the box or around the line of scrimmage. And I think his tools are best set to play around the line of scrimmage. I like him a lot. And then Paris Ford will finish my list off here. And I just think the guy right now, as of now, projects best as a slot corner. Keep in mind, he only has 1 year of starting experience at safety. In 2018, he was a corner. They converted him. So this could all change, but based on last year's tape, which again is his first season playing safety, there are themes you like. Like the dude's super reactionary, right? And I think that's best served in the slot. The thing is, he's a very, very hard hitter, but he doesn't really wrap up. It's just kind of like, it's like one of those like shoulder blocks. He'll lunge at a player and just like knock him out. But he actually had quite a bit of missed tackles on just last season. So again, very reactionary. I think that's best served in the slot. If you could get better at tackling, which just means use your arms, bruh, then I'm cool with it. I don't think he necessarily has the speed or instincts right now, especially the instincts to stick at the back end. But again, this is his second season at the position, so a lot can change. But if you want to see the rest of my list, go to fan2fan.com. I'll leave a link in the description, and it's the pinned comment. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.